For this session, we will now talk about the tax on your business or professional income. Again, as I told you before, whenever we talk about your gross income, we talk about your passive income, your gains or dealings, then we have your business or professional income and your compensation income. Also, we have different other items of gross income. We're done with passive income, gains or dealings, and other items. We now proceed on your business or professional income. So, first, business or professional income. Business or professional income is an income that is derived from self-employment on your trade or business or professionals from the practice of profession. So for business or professional income, you need to determine whether you are taxed at 8% or you are taxed at regular income tax. So when can you be subject to 8%? You are subject to 8% if you are non-VAT and you elected. Take note, non-VAT and elected. So what if you are non-VAT but did not elect? If non-VAT did not elect, you cannot apply 8%, but you will now use RIT. So if you are non-VAT only and you elected the 8% rate, then you will use this one. What is the scope? It only applies to purely business or professional income earner and mixed income earner. What is a mixed income earner? So you have your other items of income, plus you have income from business or profession. Now, what is the nature of 8% tax? The nature is that it is a bundled tax. So what do we mean by bundled tax? When we say bundled tax, you pay only one tax for income tax and business tax. So normally kasi pag RIT ka, you pay business tax and income tax. The business tax either percentage tax or VAT, and income tax is of course your income taxation. But now under 8% it is bundled. You have one tax both for IT and BT. Income tax and business tax in lieu of this is 8%. Next, it is an annual option. So what do we mean by annual option? When we say annual option, you need to elect it every year. Normally, you need to elect it every year. It applies for the year only. But if ever in your certificate of registration, really, you are subject to 8%, then no need to elect. If under your COR, you are really subject at 8%, then no need to elect. No need to elect. Now, what if you did not elect 8%? Then you will be subject to regular income tax. So when is it applicable? If you are a VAT registered taxpayer or you are specifically subject to percentage tax, assuming banks, um, operators, winnings of horse, trifecta, etc., insurance, mga ganon. If ever you are subject to percentage tax, then always RIT ka. 8% lang pag non-VAT and you elected 8% rate. At the same time, you are not subject to specific percentage tax pursuant to the rules under percentage taxation. Now, after knowing whether you are not subject or subject to business or professional income, let's look now into the computation of your tax due. So for the computation of your tax due, we have your sales, less sales return, less sales discount and allowance, that is your net sales, plus other income, less deduction, that is now your tax base. So what is your deduction? Your deduction is that if you're purely business or professional income, you have a deduction of 250K. Why? Because under our tax table, 0 to 250K is exempt. But what if you are a mixed income earner? Generally, you have no deduction. Why? Because under your compensation income, the 250K is already used and there can be no crossover. What do we mean by no crossover? For example, your compensation income is 200K only and it is exempt up to 250, right? It is not taxable up to 250. So may natira pang kumbaga 50K na deduction. Can you cross it over for business income? No. You cannot cross over the deduction if ever you are a mixed income earner. But if purely business or professional income earner, you have a deduction amounting to 250,000. And the tax rate is 8%. The tax rate is 8%. Take note, once you multiply the tax base to 8%, that is your tax due. But what if you become VAT registered during the year? So if during the year the taxpayer becomes VAT taxpayer, you will be subject to regular income tax on the income for the whole year. Furthermore, the 8% payments are only creditable against the regular income tax due. Aside from that, the taxpayer is required to pay 3% percentage tax before becoming VAT registered. And you apply only VAT prospectively. So for example, um, from January to May, you are non-VAT. But come June, you are now subject to VAT. What is your taxation? So from January to May, what will happen is that you will pay 8% first. But come June to December, you will now be subject to VAT. At the same time, since you're subject to VAT, retroactively you are subject to 3% percentage tax from January to May and only VAT from June to December. And the 8% or the total income will be subject to RIT less the 8% taxes paid previously from the months of January to May. Ganon yung effect niya. Again, if the taxpayer becomes a VAT taxpayer, then the effect is that you will be now subject to regular income tax on your income for the whole year. And the 8% payments are only creditable against the RIT due. And the taxpayer is required to pay 3% percentage tax. And VAT will be prospective. VAT will be prospective. So take note of the effects. So how do you comply? You comply by filing for the 3 quarters 1701Q and one annual 1701A. So when will we file the 1701Q? First quarter on or before May 15. Second quarter on or before August 15. Third quarter on or before November 15. And for annual, that is on or before April 15 of each year, covering income for the preceding taxable year. Okay? So, dito sa business or professional income, madali lang naman siya. Basta alam nyo kung whether it is subject to 8% or RIT. At anong effect if ever within the year, naging VAT na siya. Tandaan yung effect niya, magiging taxable siya ng RIT for the whole year. Yung 8% creditable lang yon. Tapos, kailangan niya magbayad ng 3% percentage tax before becoming VAT registered. Furthermore, VAT will become prospective only or from the time you are subject or from the time you have registered as VAT. From the time you have registered as